Hi guys, I am on the London Orbital car park known as the M25. I just thought I would take this opportunity to send out a video. I'm going to give a little shout out to a few people. In fact, I've had a few people ask me about this subject, so it's quite a big subject. What we're going to talk about is dogs that are barking at other dogs. So not necessarily aggressive reaction, but just dogs that bark at other dogs, and what causes it and what we can do to help prevent it. So I've had a few people ask me about this. John, Eric, Carla, Frederick, Douglas, can't remember my handwriting, but a whole stack of people, Sarah, a whole stack of people that have contacted me in the last few days, and I've said I'll put out a little video for you to watch. So what we're going to think about is this: when our dogs bark at other dogs, dogs are I say it all the time, dogs live in a different dimension to us. So dogs are taking on massive information that we're not aware of. So when we go out with our dog is smelling stuff that we're not smelling, hearing things that we're not hearing, and they also connect through this energy, like aura. So you can get a dog that sees another dog, quite a long way away, and straight away they're, because although we're not connected, they are. So it's a bit like if you think about two people walking towards each other, and say they were talking to each other. So they're going, hiya, how are you? Hiya, how are you? At what point do they start to hear each other to the degree where they can have a conversation? Is it 6 foot, 10 foot, 8 foot, 20 foot, whatever it is? So at what point do the humans start to nod and communicate? Hi, how are you? I'm fine, thanks, la 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 la. Well, just think that dogs do that on a much further scale. So dogs are doing that, boom, like this, whereas humans are doing it like that. So straight away that tells us that we have to react much sooner than we probably do, right? So by the time you're reacting to your dog, it's already into conversation, right? Now think about it like this: once you get into a conversation with somebody, how difficult is it then for that third party to get into that conversation, especially if the conversation might be an argument or a really excitable exchange, right? So you're that third party. So if you think about it, if your dog is like and you're here going, hey, leave it, let it, you're that third party. So there's a couple of things we've got to do. Firstly, we have to be super observant. I like to use the phrase main beam, like a car. Humans tend to walk around on their side lights, dogs walk around on their main beam. Dogs are taking in much more information, and to keep up with them, we need to do two things. One, we need to put our main beam on, we need to look up, we need to be much more responsive to what's going on. And secondly, we need to look at our dogs, and we can feed from them. Look at your dog's behavior, the way it's looking, the way it's smelling, it's air scenting, where is its direction, because that'll tell you what your dog's focusing on. The other thing as well that we could take into consideration is if we're out walking a dog, which way is the wind coming? If we're walking into wind, then that tells us that the dog is getting signals from the front. If the wind's coming up from behind us, from the side, that's where the dog's signals are coming from, right? It's getting that air scent. So we can be really aware of our environment, and that will really help us when it comes to being one step ahead. Now, I use this analogy of like Red Bull energy, and if you've seen previous videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. Red Bull energy is this kind of way of quantifying how a dog gets more and more excited. So if I have 1 can of Red Bull, my excitement level is here. I have 2 cans of Red Bull, it's here. 3 cans of Red Bull, it's there. 4 cans of Red Bull, I'd be dead. No, but you know what I mean. 4 cans of Red Bull, I'm super excited. And that's what we're looking at, is how the dog gets more and more excited. Now, the more excited the dog gets, the harder it is for you to communicate, So the sooner we get in there, so if I'm walking my dog and I see something up there, it's not a case of pulling on the lead. It's not a case of saying, oh, hang on a minute, there's a dog. Oh, hang on a minute, hang on, there's a dog coming. Oh, hang on a minute, I got hold of him. and we go from one hand to two hands, our shoulders go tight, our back gets braced, and we start, because all we're doing is sending signals to the dog that there's a problem. If your dog is a bully breed or a reactive dog, it's going to step up to the plate, because it's going to go, oh, you're afraid of this, are you? Okay, well, I got it then. And it's going to step up to the plate. If your dog barks habitually, i.e. it's just a yapper, and it just barks for the sheer hell of it, then we've got to break that habit and break that cycle. So to do that, you're not going to get anywhere. And most of you've been in the position where, you know, you're holding on to your dog like a kite, and you're just there going, oh, right? So if that's the case, if you find yourself in that position, then all that's happening is the more you pull this way, the more the dog's pulling against you. So the dog is just resisting that energy anyway, right? So we've got to actually work with the dog. So we've got to get the dog's attention before it gets to that level. So all of this is about prevention, okay? Once the dog is going nuts and it's in that mind space, there's nothing you can do, nothing anybody can do. All you can do is remove it from the situation, which is dead easy if you've got a little dog, bloody hard if you've got a big dog. So this is about prevention, and this is why we have to do, this is what dog training is about, right? We have to do the training so that when the event happens, we can deal with it. Same as a fire alarm, a fire drill. You do a fire drill when there's no fire so that you can save people's lives when there is a fire. Same thing, we need to do this, we need to practice this before we're in a place where we're going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, right? Now some of you go, yeah, but it's that's the place I'm in every time I go out. Okay, so you've got a load of work to do, right? So we've got to get our dog calm. Walking, the general walking stuff, I put a video out. I've got the ebook coming out next week. There's going to be stuff in that about what you do pre-walk, because it's important. It's all part of the same thing. So we've got to look at how we keep our dog's energy down, so we suppress the Red Bull, and also how we read the Red Bull going up. Now, if we can see physical signs, you can see the dog going tense, you can see the dog's stance change from a standing stance to a slightly leaning stance. You can see its tongue starts to do this, you know, I do the same when I have a donut, you get like this, so the dog starts to get itself excited. All of those points are points when we need to go, hey, pack it in. So never aggression, never violence, never frustration, right? We're never raising our voice because we're angry. We're never raising our voice because we're frustrated. We're never raising our voice because we've had enough, okay? But sometimes we need to raise our voice to be heard. And I like to call that nature's roar. So we rah. So sometimes it's, hey, pack that in. So we might be firm, but we're not upset. We're not angry. We're not shouting. I'm not shouting because I've lost control. I'm just raising my level above the dog's level because I need to suppress it from moving to the next level of what we call Red Bull, right? So if I'm about to have another can of Red Bull and you say, excuse me, mate, I don't think you should have another can. I don't think it's good for you. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm just going to, and especially if I've had 2 or 3 cans already, I'm not going to listen to you. But if you go, oi, don't have any more of that, I go, sorry, what did you say? Don't have any more. It's bad for you, is it? Oh, okay. Sorry, man. My dog just jumped up when I did that. so come here, man. Come on, Simon. Come on. Come on. Come here. Yeah, so we're gonna, okay, suppress that escalation that is, wait a minute, who's that? Say hi, Murph, speak, 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 speak. I have my screen off, so I can't actually see what you see. I'm just talking to a phone, but my current view is this, so it's not great, is it? M25 car park for you. So, okay, so back onto topic. So we got to suppress with our voice. We've got to suppress that next level. If we suppress it early, it works. If we don't, and they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cans of Red Bull, then you've got a manic dog that you're holding on to. Then you need to just then remove it from the situation let it settle, calm down, and then you need to practice. We need to practice by doing training. So how do we do that? Well, it's a bit like learning the Green Cross Code. You know, you're going to teach your kids how to cross the road. If you just go to a busy main road, if you go to the M4, you know, big motorway, it's going to turn out real badly for you, right? Because it's just too much going on. It's too busy. We need to go to a little cul-de-sac. We need to learn how to do it, and then we need to progress into the busier areas, right? So we do the same thing with our training. So we've got to go, okay, my dog's reactive, my dog barks, so let's take it somewhere where there's not a lot going on and practice the skills, okay? Don't just go to the park where there's 20 dogs. Let's go, and if you know somebody that's got a nice calm dog, if you know somebody that's somewhere where there's a, you know, an older chilled out dog that doesn't bark back, you know, it could be a neighbor's dog or a friend's dog, arrange to borrow it, work together. Say, hey, listen, can I meet on Sunday? Can we go to such and such, go to a car park or something? You be up there with your dog, I'll walk with my dog, we'll walk past each other from like 50 yards away and just keep walking past, you know, and don't let the dogs communicate. When you get closer, humans communicate morning, afternoon, but don't let the dog. So the dog, what we're saying to the dog, no aggression, no violence, no upset, no nervousness, nothing like that. All we're saying to the dog is, hey, it's nothing to do with you, nothing to do with you. And that's what we're going to do. So that's the psychological approach, if you like, yeah, getting the dog to stay suppressed with energy, because all of the problems that you have with this, and remember, I'm not talking about dogs that are trying to kill another dog, I'm talking about dogs that just yap and bark, right? When you have a dog that's yappy and barky, that's just habitual behavior. It's just what how they've learned to communicate. We've got to recalibrate them. We've got to say, hey, actually, that's not behavior that we want, thanks very much. So we've got to get in early and show them. We've got to show them what they need to do is concentrate on us. So when we're walking, the physical part now is the walk, like I showed in that other video about dog walking. If you haven't seen it, look through my videos and you'll see the video on walking. We need that leadership walk. We need to go boom, boom, boom. Now, what so many people do when they come up to a dog, we get this process, right? So we go, oh shit, there's a dog. So I now go fearful. I send that information to my dog. If my dog's a kind of a proactive dog, it's a little bit like, it's all right, I got it. What's this? If your dog's not, maybe a nervous dog, it might go, oh, what's that? And then it starts to bark, okay, out of fear. Or it might just go, oh my God, there's a dog. Right, so it's going to go into that process. So as soon as we see it, we have to send a signal to the dog. That signal ain't nothing to do with you. So just a little touch on the lead just to get its attention. Not a tug, not a pull, just a little oi, just to get its attention. Yes, nothing to do with you, mate, don't worry about it. Now in that act of actually saying nothing to do with you, we're also doing something else as well. And what we're doing is we're showing the dog that you have seen it, you're in charge, you're taking control, and that aids us in another area of our relationship with our dog, which is trust. Because, oh, you've got it, have you? Oh, great. Oh, okay, well, I'll chill out then. Okay, the dog gives in to us, it surrenders to us through the fact that we are showing it that we are in control, that I've seen it. If the dog doesn't think you've seen it, and half the time you haven't, how's it going to trust you? It's not, is it? Because it's taking the matter into its own hands. Now, the other thing as well, which is really interesting, is that we go to the process of, oh, there's a dog, we tense up, we send that information, and then what we tend to do is we tend to slow down. Oh, hang on. Now, if you're riding a push bike and you slow down, what happens? It becomes wobbly, you end up putting your feet down. Same thing with the dog, right? We need to actually keep going. So instead of slowing down, we might deviate. If you're on a path and there's a dog coming the other way, you might have to deviate, you might have to pull into a field and wait and that sort of thing, that's fine. But what I would say to you is to avoid choke points, avoid places like that until you've done this training with your dog and your dog listens to you. There's no point in just going to the same place, reinforcing the same bad habits, the same unwanted behavior day in, day out, because you go, well, yeah, but that's just the way we have to walk. Well, then you need to change the walk. You need to go somewhere else. You need to find somewhere else to do the training and then go back to that place once you've done the training and you can create a new result. Because remember, every time you work with your dog, if you're not consistently getting good results, then you're consistently getting bad results. And that's creating bad habitual behavior. And that's what we don't want. What we want is good behavior. We want fantastic behavior. So, the next part is to make sure we keep walking. We might have to tactically move, and we do that, but let's move tactically, and let's not move through paranoia. So let's not move, oh my God, there's a dog, I'm going to move away. Just like, right, I think we'll go this way, come on, let's cross the road. And we just do it as an order, yeah, not as a panic action, because we're sending this information to our dog. So once we've done that, and we get to a point where we are walking past, all we now have to do is to keep our dog's focus on forward. So if the dog's on the side and your dog wants to do this, and that's why we must have a lead around the dog's neck. We must have a slip lead. If we don't have a lead around the dog's head, how are we going to stop it doing this? Okay, I'm not a fan of halties. I'm not a fan of anything that entraps the dog. Unless you need to use a muzzle because the dog bites, then that's different. That's training to keep the dog safe and to keep you safe. But you know, if you just go, oh well, I use this thing around the dog's face because it helps control it, then you haven't done the right training. Okay, because if you do the right training, you just absolutely don't need that. So we've got to keep moving forward, and as we keep moving forward, the dog's head needs to be this way. So I can use the lead. Sometimes I might double lead a dog, have a harness and a lead, and I'm just going to trot on by, morning, hello, staying real focused. And the more I focus on my destination, i.e. I'm walking to the end of the road, I'm walking to that silver car, I'm walking to the shop, wherever you're going, focus on the destination. Okay, the more we focus forward, the more the dog will go with us. So the important things to remember, as a recap, we have to take the dog out calm. We have to be on main beam. We have to be aware of what's going on before it happens. You can't just wait for it to kick off. You've got to get in there early, okay? So we're going to try and use our peripheral vision to look down at our dog, sense it, watch it. If you go to the park, sit on a bench, give your dog a slightly longer lead. Allow it to watch and sit and watch your dog. Like we people watch your dog, because most people have a different view of their dog. You know, it's normally the bum, the waggy end, because it's up there in front of you. You know, if you sit down and actually watch your dog when it's in an environment where there are things around that will stimulate it, but not necessarily things around that will activate it. So we don't want the dog going nuts, but if you can just get to the point where you can see what does it do? Does one ear go up, one ear go down? Does it start wagging its tail? Does it go tense? Does it go rigid? What stance does it go in? Does its hackles go up? Does its hackles go up on the front or the back? You know, when you stand back and watch your dog is going to give you all the signals you need. You're just not seeing them up until now, okay? So as you probably know, I'm not a dog trainer, I coach people. So I am all about people putting the work in to help their dogs. And that's what this is about. Instead of going, my dog barks at every other dog, let's go, what am I not doing to stop my dog from doing that? Because it's down to you. And if you try this process, you'll find you have a lot of success. So try it out. Remember, Green Cross Code, start small, go out, avoid, work on your skill set, work on your dog walking, positive dog walking, you know, work up slowly, but be consistent. We don't need that lovey-dovey compassion. It's all right, mate, don't worry, leave it, it's okay, leave it. We need, hey, pack it in, that's enough. Keep walking, keep moving, give the dog trust. All right? Hope that helps. Drop me a line, let me know how you're getting on with it, and I hope that really helps. And have a great day. Look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, bye.